The Saubhagya Laxmi Upanishad, presented by Svayam Prakash Sharma. We begin the Upanishad with an invocation. Om, O God Almighty, may my mind always be in harmony with my speech. May my speech always be in harmony with my mind. May both my mind and speech help me in learning the Vedas. May the Vedic knowledge that I learn never desert me. With my knowledge, may I obliterate the difference between day and night, the difference between darkness and light, and the difference between knowledge and ignorance. May I always speak what is truth. May I always speak what is right. May the right and the truth always protect me. May the right and the truth always protect the teacher. Always protect me and always protect the teacher. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. The Saubhagya Laxmi Upanishad belongs to the Rig Veda and tells about the worship of the Goddess of Prosperity, the Goddess Lakshmi, also called Rama and various other names. Worship of the Goddess is done with the help of mantras and yantras, which are in the form of diagrams. The fruits of the worship of the Goddess is not just worldly wealth and riches, but also spiritual enlightenment and moksha or salvation. The path of the yoga of meditation is also described in detail. In the Muktika list of 108 Upanishads to be studied for salvation, the Saubhagyalaxmi Upanishad figures at serial number 105 in that list. The Upanishad consists of 3 chapters. For convenience, it is presented in 2 parts. Part 1 consists of the first chapter and Part 2 of the remaining 2 chapters. Source material for these uploads has been taken from the English translation of the Upanishad by Dr. G Krishna Warrier as published by the THEOSOPHICAL Publishing House, Chennai. The Upanishad. Once the gods, the Devas, approached the great God and requested him, O Lord, please expound to us in detail. Please explain to us in detail the science of the Goddess of Prosperity and how she is to be worshipped. Agreeing to the request of the Devas, the great Lord, the primeval Narayan, then expounded to them the science of the Goddess Shri, the Goddess Lakshmi. He said to the Devas, listen very carefully and with attentive mind to what I have to tell you. Meditate on the 4-armed goddess Shri, who is the goddess of prosperity. Her form is that of the 4th. In fact, she is beyond the 4th. She is the supreme over all. She is present in all the consecrated seats and she is surrounded by the deities of the seats, both major and minor. Meditate on the goddess Shri with the help of the 15 verses, beginning with the verse Hiranya Varnam, etc., which means of the complexion of gold, etc. Meditate on the goddess with the help of these 15 verses of the hymn on Shri. Now I will tell you about the sages, the meters, the deity, etc. of the hymn. The sages of the hymn are Shri, Anand, Kardam, Chikilita and Indrasut. The sage of the first verse is Shri. The sages of the remaining 14 verses are Anand, Kardam, Chikilita and Indrasut. The poetic meter or the chand of the first 3 verses is Anushtup. The poetic meter for the next verse is Brihati. The poetic meter for the next 2 verses is Tristup. The poetic meter for the next 8 verses is Anustup. And the poetic meter for the remaining verses is Prastar Pankti. The deity of the hymns is Agni, Shri herself. The seed of the hymn is Hiranyavarnam. The Shakti or power of the hymn is Kamso Asmi. The consecration of the limbs is done with the following words: Om Hiranyamay Chandrama Rajatas Raja Hiranyasya Raja Hiranyavarna Namah. Then follows the consecration of the limbs with the triads of faces. Then with the verses of Sri Sukh themselves, with the verses of the hymn of Sri herself. Consecrate in this order. First of all, consecrate the head, then the eyes, then the ears, then the nose, then the face, then the neck, then the 2 arms, then the heart, then the navel, then the private parts, then the thighs, then the knees, and finally consecrate the sides. Seated in the spotless lotus, colored as its pollen heaps, bearing in her lotus palms a pair of lotuses and symbolizing the promise of dispelling fear and giving boons, wonderfully adorned with jeweled crown and diverse ornaments. May Shri, Mother of the entire world, always promote our fortunes. The seat, with the goal kept in view, in the pericarp, set down the seed syllable of Shri, and in the 8-petaled, the 12-petaled, and 16-petaled lotuses, set down the half verses of the Shri Sukt, the hymn on Shri. Outside it, on the 16-petaled lotus, set down the verse Ya, Shuch, etc., together with the letters of the alphabet from A to L, and outside and all around, set down the seed syllable of Shri. Also draw the 10 limbs of the diagram. Then invoke the goddess Shri. With the limbs, for example, Sran, salutation to the heart, the first encasing is accomplished. With Padma, etc., the second encasing is accomplished. With the mantras of the lords of the worlds, of the Vishwa Devas, the third encasing is accomplished. And with the weapons of the Vishwa Devas, the fourth encasing is accomplished. All invocations, etc., to the goddess must be made with the hymn of Shri, with the Shri Sukt. The Shri Sukt must be recited 16,000 times. The monosyllable mantra of Shri is Shreem. Of this monosyllable mantra of Rama, the goddess of prosperity, the seer or the sage is Bhrigu. The poetic meter of the mantra is Nikrit Gayatri, and the deity of the mantra is the goddess Shri herself. The power of the seed is Sam. The 6 limbs are Shreem, etc. The lotus-eyed goddess, sitting in the lotus, her home, Lord Padmanabh's breast, her hands holding up a pair of lotuses, gives the surety of gifts and the surety of dissolution of all fears. Bathed in waters with jars by the trunks of a pair of elephants, gleaming like white and spotless clouds, shining like polished gold, her crown decked with clusters of jewels, robed in exceedingly pure silk, and anointed with sweet fragrances, may the goddess Shri always promote our welfare. Her seat, the seat of the goddess Rama, the goddess of prosperity, consists of 8 petals, 3 circles, divisions comprising 12 houses and having 10 sides. In the pericarp is inscribed the seed of Shri, keeping the goal in view. Worship the 9 powers of the world. Worship the 9 powers with the words prosperity, elevation, glory, creation, honor, humility, individuality, upliftment and welfare, with Om being said in the beginning and the salutation Namah at the end. The first encasing is done with the limbs. The second encasing is done with Vasudev, etc. The third encasing is done with Balaki, etc. And the fourth encasing is done with Indra, etc. The incantation has to be recited 12 lakh times. The goddess Lakshmi, the giver of boons, the spouse of Vishnu, the giver of wealth of golden form, is decked with a garland of gold and a garland of silver flowers. She has the brightness of gold. She is in a fortress of gold, and she sits in a lotus. She holds the lotus in her hand and loves the lotus. Pearls adorn her. She is the moon goddess and the sun goddess. She is fond of bilva leaves, and she is mighty. She is enjoyment. She is release. She is prosperity. She is increase. She is true increase. She is the plowing and the development. She is the giver of wealth, and she is the mistress of wealth. She is faith. She is enjoyments. She is the giver of enjoyments. She is the upholder. She is the ordainer. She is all these and all similar terms. All the mantras begin with Om and end with the salutation Namah. The seat has 8 limbs with the monosyllable inscribed on it. 1 lakh is the number of times the incantations have to be made. The proposal to the goddess is made with 10,000 incantations. The oblation or offering to the goddess is made with 1,000 incantations. And the gratification of the twice born of Brahmins is done with 100 incantations. And proficiency in the science of the goddess Lakshmi is reserved exclusively and only for those who are free from desires. It is not for those who cherish and love desires. Yes, proficiency in the science of the goddess Lakshmi is reserved exclusively and only for those people who are free from desires. It is not for those who cherish and love desires. This concludes part 1 of the Saubhagya Laxmi Upanishad, consisting of chapter 1,